I watched a movie last night. hmm hmm Eddington is about a small town sheriff and a mayor who have a huge fight that pits neighbors against each other in a small town during May of 2020. So this movie follows Joe, and Joe is a sheriff of a small town in a kind of a failing community. There isn't really any police divisions. People are getting locked up, people are leaving, and it's just not working. And he wants it to work. He really believes in this small town community, but he's having a problem with the mayor. Right now, the mayor is up for re-election, and Joe takes it upon himself to run for mayor because he wants to change the way things are going. Obviously, the mayor doesn't like that because the mayor wants to keep, the power. But Joe believes that the mayor isn't focusing on the community and he's focusing too much on big business that will inevitably hurt the town. So this movie is pretty much like, who are you going to listen to? Who is right and who is wrong? And it also is taking place in the global COVID pandemic. It's wild. So back in 2020, if you can remember the craziness that it was, if you were not locked in and if you were not paying attention to the news, if you weren't talking to your community, if you weren't dabbling in these conspiracy theories, if you weren't paying attention to what the government was doing, if you weren't doing your own research, then this movie might go over your head because this movie does such a good job at paying attention and showcasing both sides of the pandemic, no matter if you were on this side of the pandemic or if you were on this side of the pandemic, or if you were one of those people who wasn't paying attention to anything but drinking in the pandemic. This movie touches on all of that. So if you weren't, paying attention and focused, this movie might go over your head. You might not like it, just saying. Besides the fact that it happened during COVID when we were all very well there 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, this movie had a really good story development. Like, I really liked how all of the characters had multiple sides to them. They were very three dimensional, if not four dimensional, because they were just so very realistic. I can guarantee all of these characters that are showcased in this movie, at least probably all of them, and you probably argue with probably all of them too. This movie was just too realistic to be believable that this actually really happened to us. My favorite thing that I noticed about this movie is the camera angles were very uncomfortable. There was this like canted angle that they like to use a lot that it was just very like an unflattering angle, very uncomfortable for the eye. And it was just like, what are you doing? Why are you using this? But it made you feel uncomfortable, which is what we all felt during this pandemic was uncomfortable. So I thought it was very genius to have very awkward and uncomfortable camera angles to show the story. This story also doesn't give you a chance to breathe. You are, once it starts, you are in it and you cannot get off this ride until it's completed. And then even when you get off this ride, you're wondering if you were even there at all. It was just such a fever dream, and it was just such an interesting way that they captured our reality. I thought Ari Aster did such a good job, and he's always so good for making us uncomfortable and giving us weird and unethical but ethical like storytelling. It's just Ari Aster really just did a really good job at this one, and I was shocked. Have you seen this movie? What did you think about it? Like, comment, and share this video with your friends. I'm Hey Shante, and what movie did you watch last night?